So this week's the 9th, right? Going so fast. 17 and 18 is due on the Tuesday. And then there's module 19, which is short. And then next week's an exam. And then module 20 will start here. It's short, but we are off Wednesday through Friday for Thanksgiving break. And then there's 1 week left before finals. So there's exam on November 20th. Over 3 sections from the final exam review. It doesn't seem like all of them. Oh, 36. I knew that was. Okay. Depending on how much we cover, it might stop at 46, but we'll see. And then final is during finals week. It is on campus from 3:15 to 5:15. It is in Porsche B100. So it's in the basement. My husband took pictures for me. It's the huge auditorium. It holds 180 people, and there's 2 classes going to be in there. So there'll be 80, I think 85 students. And they're marked where you can sit, so you can't sit next to each other because of COVID reasons. But it is properly spaced. So unless something changes, it will be on YSU campus in Cushwa B100. And everyone has to take it at the same time on the same day. Any questions on that? I sent an email as soon as I found out for sure last week. But is there any questions on it? Okay. Let me finish those. These are everything that's left. Module 19 and Module 20. And these are basically all similar. Once you learn one, they're all the same. Is there any questions on Alex?
I'm stuck on it's graphing a logarithmic function basic.
The one with the domain and range?
You're making me do that one first before I can even unlock that one.
But it actually starts with graphing, or is it this translating one? It might be module before.
You have to plot 2 points on the graph of the function and also draw the asymptote.
Yep, this one we're just shifting. You can't see the Alex screen? Yeah, it's showing that you should be able to. Right now I just have Alex on. I don't think there was any logarithms in the one before. I don't know which. Can you send me a picture and we'll just go from there?
Yeah.
You will definitely have you'll have to graph the exponential function, the logarithmic function. Is there any other questions on anything?
What kind of graphing did you say is going to be on the test?
On the test coming up, there'll be logarithms, exponential functions. I think the fraction ones were on the last one. The test is next Friday, not this, but the following, November 20th. For logs and natural logs, you're starting at 1 on the x-axis. Exponential, you start at 1 on the y-axis. This is going to move it opposite of the sign, left 2. This is going to move it down 1. So from here, we move left 2 and down 1. Now the log has a vertical asymptote here. Because we're moving left 2, that's going to move left 2. So it's going to be at x equals -2. And then here's your graph. Now, if you still want to plot 2 points, you can, just to make sure it's where it needs to be. But I think it would definitely be on a no calculator part of your final. So the ones on here,
Wait, did you determine where the point was on that graph again?
well, start at 1 on the x-axis, and then we moved to
1
left.
on the x-axis.
Yeah, that's always your starting. So the basic graph starts at 1.
Okay, cool.
So then we went left down 1. Domain x-intercept, vertical asymptote. Okay. On the problems from the review sheet, it's number 40. Log base 4 of x minus 4. So we know our basic graph starts at 1 and looks like this. There's an asymptote here. How's a -4 going to move it?
Gonna go right 4.
Since we're moving right 4, our asymptote will move right 4. Up or down won't affect a vertical, but right and left. So our vertical is at x equals 4. We're not moving up and down because there's nothing added here. So we're taking this point and moving it right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the point I'll be looking for in the asymptote. They also asked for the domain. What would the domain be? Notice the domain, we're starting here at 4 and going over, but we're not including the 4, so it would be 4 to infinity, because there's nothing before 4. And then the range, it's including all the values, so it's all real numbers. And the x-intercept, well, right there. Any questions on that one? Try another one.
What are these topics called?
These are number 4 from the 40 from the final exam review sheet. They're just asking you to graph and find the domain, x-intercept, vertical asymptote. I'm not sure why she asked about x-intercept, because when you shift, you're landing right on the x-intercept. Okay, so how will this move the graph?
3. And left 3.
Left 3.
We're going left, which means our vertical asymptote is moving left 3. Our point was here at 1. It's moving 1, 2, 3 here. Our asymptote was at 0. It's moving to -3. And there's your graph. Domain, oh, go ahead.
Did your point start at 1? You went left 3.
It always starts at 1. The natural logs always start at 1 on the x-axis. The domain would be from -3 on, because there's nothing before it. The range, all the negative values, and then keeps going, so it's all real numbers. If you remember the exponentials, the domain was all real numbers. They flip because they're inverses of each other. Any questions on that one? Okay. So find the natural log of x minus 1 plus 2, graph it, give the vertical asymptote, the domain, and the range. So the graph moved right 1 and 2. The vertical asymptote is x equals 1 then, because we're moving right 1, so we need to move it with it. Up 2 doesn't affect it. And then our point started at 1. We moved right 1 and up 2. This is the point I'm looking for, and the asymptote, and then that you're going the right way. Any questions on that? Domain, there's nothing on the graph until 1. So it goes, but not at 1, right after. So it goes from 1 to infinity, but not including it. And the range, all real numbers. Any questions on that one? How does this negative in the front move it? Or flip it, I guess I should say. What it does is, I'll put on here. Over the x, exactly. So you're still starting at 1, but instead of growing, the graph you're shifting is decreasing. Always flip first and then shift. So this is the graph we're shifting now. It's bending the other way because it flipped. And then the 2 moves it. I think you're good with this part. Left 2, down 1. So where's the vertical asymptote at? X equals what? Anyone?
be -1 since it's flipping.
The inside here is what moves it. And so since we're going left 2, it's going to move left 2. So it'll be at -2. The one out here, when you have the exponentials, that's your horizontal. In here affects verticals. So our asymptote moves to -2. And our point moves from 1 left 2 down 1. Any questions on that? Any questions on the natural logs? Do you need to do another one before we do the exponentials? I think they put a negative inside the log.
So what exactly does that mean when the log is negative?
On the inside, it flips it on the y-axis. But the other thing you need to do before you can say, because saying left 3 would be wrong. You have this negative here, you have to pull it out. So it's moving right 3. This negative is flipping it, and this is moving it right 3. So the basic graph, instead of being here at 1, it's going to be here at -1. Is that this whole this is shifting. Well, that doesn't even look like a different color here. So this graph here is flipping because of the negative. And then this is going to move right 3. So our vertical asymptote is at 3. So instead of 0, 2, 3, it's here. And the graph, our points here now, it moves 1, 2, 3. So it's here. It's going this way. So a negative on the inside flips it this way. Here it flips this way when it's out front. Any questions on that? Any other, do you need to do another log or natural? Natural log and log is the same. The graph just grows a little faster, a little slower, but it's still the same graph.
Wait, so originally, maybe you lost me somewhere. So originally on this, where was the point on that? Was that at 1, 0?
Okay, so the normal point would have been here at 1, 0, but negative made it flip to here, so we're shifting from here.
So it went from 1 to -1?
Yep, flipped right over the axis. It's like if you folded the axis in half, it would land on -1.
Okay, so where did the vertical axis go?
When you flipped it, it stayed on the origin. There. But then this 3, because it was negative, moved it right 3.
All right, now I'm
Because
getting
it was
confused.
on 0, it didn't move anywhere. It's a little different. I noticed on the exponential ones, she threw that negative in there like that. So I thought, well, maybe on the final she does it the opposite. So if it's on the inside, it flips on the y-axis. Any questions on that one? Do you need to do another log?
Yeah,
No?
sure. Why not?
One more. Probably the same one. Keep using the same number. Okay, so find the vertical asymptote, the domain, the range. Nothing is flipping, so we're using this normal graph, and the asymptote was at 0. The +1 moves left 1, up 4. So the vertical asymptote, which is here, moves left 1, moving up and down doesn't matter.
Isn't it down 4?
Did I put? Thank you. X. -1. That should be down. But moving it up or down doesn't change it. So this is -1. When you have your vertical, it's what's inside here. When we do the horizontal with the exponential, it's out here. Left 1, down 4 over here. Our asymptote is at -1. And our graph. Domain, there's nothing before -1, so it's -1 to infinity. And the range is all real numbers. Any questions on that? Okay, exponentials. These are number 36 on the review. Now, exponentials, whether it's a number to a power or e to a power, they grow. Wait 1 second, let me. When a is greater than 1, there's a horizontal asymptote. It crosses at 1 on the y-axis, and it grows. And E is 2.7, so E is the same as greater than 1. When A is between 0 and 1, it decreases. Still crosses at 1, and it still has the asymptote at 0, but it decreases. So when you're shifting, you want to make sure you remember that. If A is greater than 1, or if it's E, which is also greater than 1, it grows quickly. When it's between 0 and 1, it decreases quickly. They both have the same horizontal asymptote. And they both cross at the same spot that you're going to use to shift. Okay, so for the homework, or the problem says, sketch the graph showing the horizontal asymptote. So it's greater than 1. So this is the graph we're shifting. How's the 7 moving it?
Down 7.
No. It'll move up 7 because it's not with the x. We use the same sign. And since it's moving up, the horizontal asymptote is going to move up with it. We have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 7. So the last graph we did in this one, they're inverses. This has a horizontal, it had a vertical. It was growing here, the other one's here. I should have left more room. So it moved up 7, which means this graph growing quickly because this is the one that's greater than 1 because we have a 2. This at 1 moves up 7, so it move up to 8.
Is that one the same way as the other ones, just on the y-axis?
Correct.
Okay.
Any questions on that one? These graphs, to see an inverse, and this is one of the questions in the outline. Exponential graph grows like this. The natural log grows like this. If you graph the line y equals x, they flip on it because they're inverses. So remember when we found inverses of graphs? Inverses of functions, if you graph them, they flip along the x equals y line. So they flip. And that's why when you grab the exponential, it's here and the logs are here because they're inverses. Okay, so let's graph this one. So this is going to move us right 1, up 2. The horizontal asymptote, moving right and left doesn't affect it, but it is going to move up 2. Our point was here, and it's growing because this is greater than 1. So from here, we're moving right 1, 2. Any questions on that? There's one on this one. This negative, there's 2 ways you can do this. First, we have to pull the negative out. And then you can remember that this flips it like this, because it'll flip it across because of that negative. Or you can rewrite this and get the negative by moving the 5 to the denominator. So that negative moves this, so that's between 0 and 1, which means it's decreasing. But you can look at it either way, either one of these. You have to factor it out though. But then either one. This flips on the y-axis. This just tells you it's decreasing. And in either case, then the graph you're shifting is this one. So if you look at it this way, you would think that it flips on the y-axis. So what was going here flipped. Or if you write it this way, A is between 0 and 1, so it's a decreasing. Either way. And then this is going to move right too. We have a horizontal, so the horizontal won't move. So our horizontal is here. And from 1, right 2. And there you go. Any questions on that?
Wait, how'd you get the 150?
This negative moved it to the denominator. Now you could have stayed with this and then just flip on y-axis. Or you can rewrite it and then use this rule. When it's between 0 and 1, it's decreasing. Either way, I think it's easier to get rid of the negative, but that's up to you. Any questions on that? Okay, so for your test next week, other than this one problem where you solve by graphing two lines and seeing where they intersect, if we get into this section, that's the only other graph. I don't see any others. I think we covered all of them. But this last group here, they're in the last section. So I'm not sure that they'll be on the test or not. Depends on how much we cover. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Right? Yeah, we meet up tomorrow. No class on Wednesday because of the holiday. I think that's it. Is there any questions?
You want me to join the other course room, our meeting?
You can just stay on.
Okay.
Have a good day.